Welcome to another episode of Late Night Vacuum.
Hi, everybody.
We're
I hope you're
very much
well.
on screen.
Most awesome, sir. How have you been?
I have been doing well for most of the week.
That is quite an edited highlight. we've all had a bit of off-stream fun. I think is worth just saying. Before we kind of get into everything, on the count of three, 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Oh.
oh. I'll
So,
let you... you win with that last.
I leave the most amazing voicemails.
You do, I bet.
So I hope everybody's well. It's been a rather interesting week in the verse. Quite a few things have happened. Not, I'd say, as probably as momentous as last week's with all those releases, but we'll get to that. But let's kick off by saying, Grakees, what have you been playing?
Oh, this week it has been filled with Star Citizen and Mad Max. Star Citizen and Mad Max.
You must be having the most amazing dreams.
They are rather odd and interesting. I can't even really remember, except they were weird.
So, when did your new joystick come in?
That came in last week, actually, right before Late Night Vacuum.
Yeah, so that package just arrived. So you've actually been wiggling the old stick on screen.
I have been wiggling my stick on screen. Actually, it's just off screen. I've been wiggling the stick. But
you say that, but the camera angle tells all. How has it been? Because so to put into context, for one of the things that I think we always should be mindful of is that we're just like total nerds. And so I always like to remove things that we think are obvious. We want to kind of lay out there. You've been using the X52, which is
X52 Pro.
X52 Pro, which is a HOTAS, hands-on throttle and stick, which means you can fly and do many things basically without taking your hands off the unit. I'm playing with a keyboard. I think it's all completely self-contained.
Correct.
And that's great for Sims and for flying, therefore Star Citizen. You've moved to a T16000M as a result of the X52 Pro breaking.
Correct.
What is it like in terms of, describe its kind of setup and how it compares? I know it's not a game thing, but I think it's kind of important because it has influenced your gaming.
It actually has a slightly larger base. It's a little bit more stocky of a joystick. The joystick handle itself is a little bit more shallow. However, the trigger sits out quite a bit farther. And the way the angle is and the way that they have that set so you could position your hand, it's a set base height. So if, like me, I actually almost 2 decades ago now, a little bit, 15 to 20 years ago, I had an injury in my thumb from baseball. And I'm double jointed in my thumbs. But the injury tore the tendon completely, so I had to have surgery to repair it. Sports injuries, they injure tendons.
Yep.
Yes. I can't fully stretch my thumb out anymore. It's held in with a pin. There's a pin in there. So
you must be fun when you go flying.
It doesn't beep. Non-magnetic.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, non-magnetic surgical, so they can MRI and everything, which is good.
That'd be hilarious. Or it'd rip out.
It'd probably thunk the hand, hopefully. But it's I almost need padding that I'd have to like add to the base of the handle on the joystick itself, so my hand can sit up a little bit higher and still rest down on the joystick. I only need maybe half an inch or just a couple centimeters for those of you in Europe listening. So that I don't need much padding to it, but just enough to raise my hand up because the trigger sits so far out that the hand position is not really great for my hand sitting on the base.
Now, Now this is a kind of interesting thing because HOTAS is typically a split system. It's a stick and throttle is separate. Are you still using the X52 Pro throttle?
Yes, I am still using the X52 Pro throttle, which still works great.
Um, so with that, I mean, it's like because the 16,000M has a throttle built in, doesn't it?
It does. It has its little throttle handle, but it's on the actual squat base, so I would kind of have to have my hand over here positioned or move it in the center and just use my thumb and then six button, whereas I
Okay.
have way more control with the X52 Pro throttle handle because I
Okay.
have the pinky finger set to four directional, then I have three buttons right off the thumb, plus I have the throttle handle, so it's a lot more control in one hand than two hands over at the T16000M, and a lot more throttle control,
Okay.
more precise throttle control on demand as well.
So one of the things that we've been saying, and not just us, pretty much a lot of streamers have been saying about it's like, I want to get a joystick, where should I start? How are you rating then the 16,000M, would you say, as a starter stick?
Best of the starter sticks. Precision on it cannot be matched. The sensors in this thing are amazing to the point where I've actually had to like relearn stuff because I was used to having to fight to get those first little bit, and now I have to relearn to hold my arm straight, and that's why I want the pad. It would help more because
Mm-mm.
I actually have to hold my arm up and steady at the same time because even a slight movement of my hand or forearm causes drift in the ship because it's that responsive on those slight movements.
Yeah, this is in Ryoki, and it says it's got the same sensors as the Thrustmaster Warthog.
Correct. It's
Yes,
the
it's
Hall
the same,
sensors.
the whole sensors. Uh, oh, actually, we've just got a funny question, and we'll talk more about games in a second. But Trollolino goes, question, why is your podcast always this late? Well, it's to do with time zones. I think that's the best way.
Yes, it gives us enough time to. The biggest thing is it gives us enough time to watch ATV, which is across, around. I can never remember if it's across the verse or around the verse.
It's around the verse.
Thank you. Um, it's to watch around the verse, to prepare questions, to get home from work for if I start working again. We positioned it in a time slot ahead of time in preparation for both of our schedules.
Yeah, Tatica says, let's get rid of time zones, standard Earth time for the win. And you have opened up a Pandora's box there for a Terran separatist. We've got a couple of questions coming in, especially a great one from Ryu. So I want to kind of follow up with that probably after the gameplay questions. But so you've been playing Star Citizen and Mad Max. Anything from there that you want to kind of share? Because you've been really getting into Mad Max, I know.
Mad Max for me is a ADHD OCD gamer's dream because I have legitimate ADHD, like diagnosed, and I have legitimate OCD, and I've learned to adapt to it. It's just always been something that's there. But however, when things feed into them in a positive way, it makes me oh so tingle happy.
Yes, I've
And
seen your happy tingles.
this feeds into it in that positive gamer way where I have a wide breadth of things to do at any given time, but if I get bored, I can just kind of stop and go do something else. But there's so many things to complete that it feeds the OCD. Like, I gotta finish this, and I want to finish it because it's worth it, and it does it in a way that feeds both parts, and then I feel satisfied, and it doesn't bother me outside of it. So it's a game.
Basically got the Skyrim syndrome.
Basically, yeah, it's very much that, and you can level Max, you can level the bases Max goes to, you can level Max's car, you can collect all sorts of stuff, you can clear out all sorts of areas, you can go just do tons of side quests. I haven't even gotten to like
place.
the fourth story mission. I haven't even done that yet, and I've cleared out almost like the first three zones because I just went, screw the story, I want to go do all this other stuff.
So chat is jumping ahead with some of the things that have happened this week, but we'll keep to our own beat of the drum. So basically, this is a game you'll be playing for a while, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
Now, how about yourself, though, Doublar? I want to know what you've been able to play this week and what you've had fun with.
So I'm gonna talk and champion because I think this is truly one of the. But I think I just got a follower. Whoever followed me, thank you. I'll check out later. That's quite awesome. Um, uh, we basically I've been playing Franbo. Um,
With the creepy game.
the creepy game. Now, this is one of those games. So to put it into background,
Now, do I have to
top,
plug my ears? Will there end up being spoilers here? Like, because
I'm going to definitely not make it to be spoilers, but my
perfect.
God, I want to spoil it, but I won't. So Franbo was this woman. She had this idea for a game, and if I remember, it was her and her dad. Her dad helped her out at first, and they did an Indiegogo campaign. I funded it because the game sounded really interesting.
Mhm.
She got on a developer, so it was really just a developer and her. She ran the story, did all that other odds and sods, and it turned out to be one of the best games I've played. And I'm not talking just this year,
Ever.
um, ever.
Would this make your top five?
I try not to think of an all-time top five because then that becomes reductionist and unfair. So I'll speak in generals and say this is one of the best games I've ever played. Now, I like adventure puzzle games. I played um, Broken Age. I loved the first part, didn't enjoy the second part as much. Secret Monkey Island, all that kind of stuff. I love that kind of thinking. But sometimes what people do is they create the puzzle without the story and without the emotion and the motivation.
I was a big fan of how LucasArts used to do it, though, where you talked about Monkey Island there, and they did the
Yeah,
Indiana Jones game. They were probably the gold standard. So you're saying
yeah,
it's in that level of
yeah,
standard.
yeah, absolutely. And so what this is, it's about Franbo. Franbo, she's a 10-year-old girl. She has a kitty called Mr. Midnight, and she loves her parents very much. And something happens to her parents, and yeah, and she has to kind of go away somewhere. And while she's there, um, people talk to her, and she starts to see things. And
Interesting.
what happens from that point on, as she tries to find Mr. Midnight, is truly original, truly shocking, truly unnerving, and and emotional. Um, so yeah, it is an amazing game. It's only been out, I think, for about a week. It's about £10 over in UK land, which is something in your local currency.
I think
Um,
$17 US.
about that, and I've been playing it on my stream for the last week, and it's that game where if you've played Dead Space, okay,
Yes.
and this gives you the measure when things started to get really creepy because I would play that on my Xbox in a dark living room, nothing but the TV screen. I would be scared shitless. Franbo as a point and click adventure game makes me react the same way.
Ooh.
And at the same time, it's cute and lovely.
It's
And
Coraline.
it's, yes, exactly. It is Coraline because you see what you see, and she sees what she sees, and she reacts to it, and she doesn't like it, or she reduces it into a way that she can manage. But oh my God, this is a game that I think about just from an emotional, perceptual level uh, outside of the game. It is amazing.
Beautiful.
Um, and so I mean, I do not know if It's called, I think, Kill Monday is the name of the group who've put this out. This two person team. I don't know if they're going to do more games, but if you really like, and if somebody can put the link up, and there is a free demo, if somebody can put the link up into chat, just try it out, because this is one of those things that you don't see often. It is purely original. It's inventive, and it has a depth of character and of storytelling that I haven't seen for years.
I'm forcing myself to save it for Halloween week.
Yeah, because you have a copy now, and you're going to play it for the Halloween week. So,
Yes.
so for people now, here's the thing: do not spoil this man. But when he plays it, you're gonna love it, because what I've been doing is I'm really bad at voices, and I've been speaking as Fran.
I
And
can't do high pitch, so there you go.
No, because what you do is you just bring it down to innocence, to a lighter innocence tone. That's what I've been doing, and reading the text, you get very taken up and whisked away with it. And I know I'm not good at that. I know you have a certain knack, so I implore you. And you know what the best thing about everything I've just said? I've not hyped it.
It's just complete
it's
truth
good.
on it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
that's beautiful.
So that's what I've been playing. And there's a link in chat right now, so if anybody wants to check it out, please do. I so wholeheartedly recommend it. So the week in the verse, what has been going on, sir?
Oh, there has been many a thing this week. Anything from Dragon Con initially showing the pictures of the Endeavor to them showing it today in ATV, to the new community hub going out, which doesn't have an NDA against it, they outright said. However, it's only up to 2,000 people, but I have seen pictures of at least my stream on the new community hub page. So I am on there. My stream is listed, and we're going to get everyone listed there, from, Doublar to everyone else in Bad News Game. We're going to make sure we're all a presence, and this podcast will be there.
Woohoo! It's kind of like I'm so happy this hub is coming up, because it is a nice centralized place for creators, supporters, and critics. More importantly, critics, because feedback is always a good thing.
Yes.
When it's a constructive thing. And I'm just so happy for it. I just wish I had access already. I have so many things to put out.
I know it's phrasing, but gimme.
As you do, Ted. And so that's out. And also today, the invites for the issue system have come out.
Yes, they have started talking about their issue system that's going to be going out there. And what is it called? The Concern Council or something like that?
Issue Council.
Issue Council, thank you.
Yeah, most lovely. This is exactly the kind of thing that we need. Although I have heard rumors that there's a bug already placed about how the Thorshoe in the tank isn't moving, and people foolishly are saying that's not important. Damn you.
How dare they say it's not important? Hail the great space crab.
He is indeed one of the pantheon, so we need to support the space crab. Anybody who goes against the space crab, your name should be taken. Hail space crab, says Solus in chat. So that's been happening. We had a 10 for the chairman. I don't think too much kind of stood out this week there.
Nothing huge stood out, no.
No. We then had Bug Smashers, which was quite nice.
I missed it. I got to go back and watch the episode. Normally I watch it.
It looked at an AI pilot and gunner interaction for the Hornet.
Oh, okay.
And it just dealt with a turret not moving when there was a target nearby, as controlled by the AI.
That's impressive that it's an AI situation now.
Yeah, the bug there is one thing, but the AI is the other thing. So that was nice to see. We had a rather interesting around the verse there were a few things that came out of there. What thing kind of jumped out at you from that?
Honestly, hair. Seriously, I'm not kidding. The hair. The little sneak preview and talking about having hair that they think they have a gold standard ready to set multiple versions of it, and as well as the emote recording, mocap of emotes.
Okay, so yeah, so it's kind of an interesting one because the, normally with around the verse, they'll make big announcements or they'll make important statements. But this episode, it felt like the lead was being buried absolutely everywhere. One of which, of course, was hair, and so now people may be going, why is hair important? Um, just think about the hair that all the characters that you've seen in all the games that you've played, what they look like, and you realize how little time is spent on hair, with the exception of certain co-stars. I'm thinking Miranda Lawson from Mass Effect 2. And yeah, we've also had Netcode in there. So it's kind of like it just shows you the level of, you know, pink punk hair, light dusted blue gray hair, and all those kind of concepts. They look great, but to actually see them in game means there's going to be a hell of a lot of variance and styles.
Yes.
You know, and I would assume that it's not going to be like a Lego brick kind of clip-on hair.
Not to mention those were female model hairs too, which is we haven't even seen the female model in game.
Yeah,
so that's a whole other level to it.
For me, I think one of the interesting pieces was actually what Darian Vorlik was saying at the beginning, because he came on. They do the Spectrum dispatch, and they kind of go around all the you know, offices, and he was talking about the ghost system is getting some fun. How did he frame it?
Some fundamental rework, substantial rework,
some fundamental, substantial. So basically, the ghost system is the system which enables you get attacked. So at what points do the alert red bulbs go off, going, oh, you're in trouble? At what point does smoke come out, sparks fly? At what point do the doors open and close? How do you manage the doors open and close? How do you manage the security of your ship when you've got multi-crew? It does quite a lot of things. Game object state system.
yes,
Um,
that's tied into everything.
yeah, so Darian said that they're making changes. Now, you have a theory as to what's happening there.
Honestly, my theory behind it is they've made several key important changes behind the scenes. They have changed the skeletons and animations for pretty much everything. All of that would directly relate to the flow graphs, because a flow graph is sort of a if X happens, this is Y output situation. So it takes the input of what's going on and spits out output based on whatever you set up in the graph through a whole bunch of different, you know, broken down trees and charts. And you change the animations and skeletons, it needs rework. Start changing over some of the behind the scenes code, and you need to do rework. You get new tools for the flow graph, which they talked about in a smaller article and to the side in the monthly breakdown. They actually talked about how some of the designers wanted new tools and wanted tweaks to the tools for things like how the flow graphs were working. So when you start getting new tools and all those other things, you can do more with it, or you change things, and it needs work, both on the graphs themselves and the system that's going to handle it and do those reactions. So Ghost will need an overhaul to handle all these cool new things that they're aiming to do. And that just shows that they just got to a different step in the process that goes, oh, okay, we need some work.
That is pretty damn cool. And he also talked about the fact that Mark Abent and another guy whose name I'm so sorry slipped my mind. They're reworking the item system as well, but they don't want to kind of talk about that, and that's going to have some fundamental changes.
Yeah, the global item. The global object inventory. I can't remember the exact name.
Da, 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 da. And that also ties into what was being said from the UK office about the netcode.
Yes, a lot of what they did wasn't directly net code per se, where you would think of it as reducing pings so much, even though they did do some with that. A lot of what they were doing was the more minute cleanup stuff. And that is actually great because as someone who's gone in and one of those people that likes to look at that sounded like a bottle being opened.
That may have been a little tipple. So,
I don't
yes.
remember what I was talking about. I'm just jealous of your drink.
Oh, you shouldn't be. It's Welsh whiskey, so what do I know? So yeah, so they are actually kind of optimizing by turning off stuff they don't need, but at the same time they have been working their own netcode solution.
By ripping out all of the stuff that CryEngine uses because they're designed for tens, as they said, and
Yeah,
Star Citizen as a big MMO, they need it for hundreds, and that's at a time
yeah. That,
instanced. So
that
it's not
indeed.
25 in an instance, it's 50, it's 100, it's 200
So
at some point.
Raytheon 2 says, by overhaul, do you mean a new version that uses less CPU power and bandwidth?
Yes, that's what they're aiming for.
Yeah.
They talk directly about the fact that the CPU is getting overuse.
Mm.
That was a direct thing they talked about. They know that our CPUs are taking a major hit with the unoptimized code right now, trying to test this out and do the alpha and everything else. That most of our CPUs are at 100%, even though we've
Yeah.
got it on low settings.
It just shows they've been reading the forums and or checking out any whatever logs they have.
Yeah.
I think the reason, like for example, Grakees and I, we stream Star Citizen, and one of the ways that we stream Star Citizen is that we basically have to get a separate PC. Now you've not done that
Not
yet.
yet, which is why I have some problems still with hitching, and I have to shut down a whole bunch of other stuff behind the scenes. And I'm using an i7. It's not a great
Yeah.
i7, but this is still an i7 processor, and the fact that it runs at a full 100%, and if I turn everything off, including my stream, and run Star Citizen, it still tries to use 100% at times.
It is brutal. Because a lot of people have been saying it's like it's the graphic card, it's the graphics card, get the best graphics card, all those kind of things, and then they become surprised when it still chugs a bit, and it's purely because in it's an optimized state, it's using so many CPU resources, and I don't even think it's properly multi-threaded yet for the CPU.
I don't believe it's fully properly
No.
multi-threaded because they
Yeah.
pretty much just got 64-bit up and running. So that means that there's still work to do on getting it properly multi-threaded to work in the CPU. Plus, DirectX 12 integration is going to help out with some of that optimization once they get that up and running. There's a lot of work to go on those optimizations. Typically, though, that happens far later in the process. So.
I totally agree, but it's kind of interesting because there has been like a kind of movement to get things that would be end of process done more readily now, because even though this is alpha / pre-alpha, it's in the hands of us, which is basically unheard of. It's kind of a difficult situation because you never exactly know.
They're rewriting the book.
Yeah, and the only problem is that the more they do now, of course, the more rework they'll have to keep doing continuously. So the longer, in many ways, the longer they put it off, the better it is for them. But in turn, it's going to piss people off.
Yep. So they have to balance what gives the greatest benefit to work on now, both front-facing and internally. And that's a production nightmare, but also a fun production challenge because producers do love the challenge of trying to balance.
Oh,
it's
hell!
A puzzle.
They wouldn't even go. Yeah, puzzle. I mean, that's it. It's kind of like. Sorry, I'm just imagining them like playing Bilbo in The Hobbit, going to Gollum for the riddles, and they going, "I've got this."
That's the schedule's precious.
I do not know how you do that. I do not know how you do that.
Agile.
Oh my god. So yeah, one other thing that kind of came from around the verse, and now we have to stress this very clearly, is that it's not real until Chris Roberts says it's real. Is that they did a ship shape? Lisa did a ship shape. Ship. Hang on, let me just wet my whistle.
Mm. I can't whistle.
Don't worry, I can't either, but I make up for it in other ways. Basically talked about the Avenger.
Oh,
and
yes.
Yes. Oh my God. So the Avenger, nerd fans. Woohoo! And there's more than that. The Avenger was it's an adjacent dynamic ship. It was used as kind of like an interdiction style ship.
It's a police ship.
Police ship, interdiction, UE, internal kind of homeworld stuff. And it's out for us all to use. One of the things that it was always touted with was, and it looks like a flying penguin. And one of the things it was always touted with, it does, yes, it was touted with two-seater because it was originally going to be like a trainer ship slash a ship we would fly in Squadron 42. It was then replaced with the Gladius, which is a more militarily. My God, I've been quenching my thirst too strong. Military. It's more. It's a much more
Your
military
Weddle is whistled.
It's more than my Weddle. And as Roken says, the Avenger is quite sexy. Well, possibly. It's kind of an odd one penguins. because if you in a world where there is one man and one penguin.
In a world of one man and one penguin. Take to the stars.
They'll do more than take to the stars. But the so they've basically
things.
So basically, they've been reworking the design. When I look at the Avenger, I'm amazed. This is before we saw what we saw today in Ship. I'm amazed they've managed to fit so much in, because when you walk through the back of the ship and you walk around where they kept the sails, and then you kind of go through to the bed and you go through the cockpit, it almost feels like there is actually no space between the outside and the inside of the ship. It's like micro thin.
Yeah.
Because it's like a TARDIS. So they're trying now to rework it to make it so it has 2 seats in the front. Now, we saw from today's ship shape there, a kind of a proof of it. And this is not signed off by Chris Roberts, so it doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. But it's kind of like...
You can tell they're fighting for it to happen, though.
Oh, God, yeah. But you can also tell how the hell do people get in and out of that ship. They'll have to kind of not go through the back anymore.
Yeah, definitely can't go through the back anymore. You got to climb up. And to me, the cramped look of it is almost just like one of our fighter cockpits now. Those things are tiny. You can't be a giant person and be a fighter pilot from everything I know. So it's like, it's kind of like how we design stuff right now. It's pretty cramped.
It's like if you ride a horse, you have to be the tiniest person in the world. So this is the horse jockey of ships. But what was really interesting, and I know people will focus on the cockpit, it was actually the back-end cargo space, because they've made substantial... Now, we've not seen the cargo area before. We've only seen like the cell area, which has been a totally different aesthetic and design principle. But the cargo area is taking on board from the Reliant, which from the what's the name of that ship? The Tallywhacker. It's taken from the Tallywhacker.
The Retaliator.
That's the one.
You just wanted me to say the word.
Yes.
TTT.
TTT times a tally. So it looks absolutely average.
It does.
But that's okay.
Because we haven't had anything that is the midline.
It's basically just a cargo hold. So what I was impressed with is the fact that it took signature notes from the tally, and also it took on board from what we last saw in the Cutlass redesign, which is going to be a standard, which is magnetic plates for kind of holding your cargo.
Yeah.
Which was quite nice. So I was quite happy with that.
Mm.
You okay?
Yes.
But I don't know if there was much else in ATV this time, apart from the fact that Ben and Sandy absolutely nailed it.
They did.
Oh my God. It was the best I've seen them. It was hilarious.
It was. They seemed more relaxed this time. They just
and to be honest,
got into it.
I completely see. I think the thing about what they do is they want to put on a good show. And I think the thing about today's one is that they stopped caring. Now, that's not a negative, far from it. It's like they actually are just having fun. And that's, I think, fundamentally an important thing. Because, it's all about fun.
It lets the flow change.
Yeah. Citizen Ryokane says that the original Avenger had a rollaway ladder you would climb to get in. So, yeah, that makes sense. So did anything else kind of come up this week for you? Because it has been a rather light week. We've been waiting for the hub and the issues.
The Endeavor.
Oh, what's that? What's the end?
Endeavor Explorer ship of science and hospitals and.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
It's my space meth lab showing its form.
So this created a problem for me because I honestly said, Star Trek, no, I'll leave that for other people. I didn't want to get the Endeavor.
Now you want it, don't you?
I want it so bad.
And Hal. You want Hal's Endeavor so bad.
So the Endeavor was shown at DragonCon, and as of speaking right now, it's actually been released in the subscriber vault with full clear images. They also showed images of it on around the verse. It's not finished yet; it's still in development. And it went from was it Discovery? Was that the name of the 2001 ship?
It looked like the ship from 2000. Yeah.
It looked like that, and then it kept kind of refining and moving through, and it became more ship-like, and then it became basically a huge ship with a rotation ring and then engines and other stuff in the back. Now, from it's ginormous, but size, as we know, is not everything. So let's look at what else it does.
It has attachments that swing out, and
so it basically it's by MISC. So think of the MISC Hull series, but at the same time not as crazy with the arms. But it can extend pods and various things from its center mass. One of the modules that you can get for it is the centrifugal ring. Yes. So that means for science experiments, you can actually generate alternative gravity.
And zero gravity.
And if you so wish it. Now, if I understand now, this was... I'm going to call this completely made up because I cannot authenticate fully the source, but I understand it was said at the DragonCon panel that the front end of that so if you look for the Endeavor and find an image, the front end of it, which is after the ring, can actually detach, so it can fly around. The remainder stays as a fixed point.
It has a saucer section, in other words.
It has a saucer section.
And, oh my God!
And it also, I think that front end can also hold 2 cutlasses.
Oh yeah, because Cutlass Red are ambulances.
Yes, so it can hold 2 cutlasses.
Wow, that's a big ship.
It's absolutely massive.
Because there's no context for size in the pictures they showed, and they looked pretty big. But now that I know the front end can fit 2 cutlasses, it's like, that's a big ship.
Yeah, and so Cyberwolf in chat is, Cyberwolf, were you actually at DragonCon? Oh, that's really cool.
So for the listeners, one of our live viewers was apparently there and saw it live. So
Mm.
we are talking to our chat as well.
We do the multitask thing.
Yes.
So I had a very so okay. So I have one or two ships. I think we can all agree there. I um I only wanted one more ship, and it's because of certain romantic notions about what I want to do in the game that may or may not ever happen. The Corvette, basically. And so I'm prepping for the Great Melt of 2015, should I get the chance to get the Corvette.
But the question
And
is Corvette or Endeavor?
Dora the Explorer, why not both? Um, so that I already have, like, for example, I have a tally and I have all the modules. So, that's first to mount.
I know you
And
don't like the tally. I'll just.
actually, no, I absolutely love the tally. I just don't see it as part of,
What you're going to do.
yeah, so I just bought it so I could melt it and tell you that I'm melting the tally.
Oh. Oh, that's just cruel and amusing. Because I can't
And
wait to torpedo one of your bigger ships that you're in love with before you can get its defenses up.
well, yeah, you blow me up, big man. How does that make you feel? Um, so so I'm actually because in various channels that we have as part of Bad News Gaming, I posted this question: should I melt my reclaimer?
Oof,
Yeah,
that is a tough one.
and the answer is yes, because I have an Orion and I have a reclaimer. And while the moment the design documents come out, that will make me want to look at scavenging and all that kind of stuff, I will regret it. I honestly think that I could I can honestly think I could have fun with an endeavor.
And not to mention, all of these are earnable in game.
Yes,
So you
absolutely.
can go and regain all of these ships anyway.
Yeah,
It's just
so
day one, what are you going to do?
yeah, so as a kind of a background thing, so people going, oh my God, all this money, all these ships. You only need to get a starter package. You can earn everything in game. We're not buying ships. We're giving money to CIG to make the game. And then all we're doing is we're just kind of like trying on clothes, going to go, how does this look for my gaming choice? Everything else is immaterial. But regardless of that, my God, it's amazing. I want an Endeavor so
I
bad, it's
know.
stupid.
I know. That's one that I almost would be like, "Oh, can I melt everything to get that?" Except my constellation, I can never melt it.
Yeah, Solus says, day one, put a giant boxing glove on the Reclaimer and punch a space station. If anybody hasn't seen the Reclaimer, that thing is awesome looking. And Captain Jimmy Dean says, I'm definitely going to need some help crewing my Corvette class ship and or Endeavor. Cap, we'll both be putting out wanted lists for various staff. So yeah, that was pretty much, I think, all of it this week. I don't think there was anything else.
I don't know of anything off the top of my head.
It's been all kind of infrastructure stuff. It's been about a couple of tech changes. Still looking forward to CitizenCon and the things that are going to work towards that. They were talking about layering of skin and muscle and blood for the models. So I'm very curious to see if we're going to reach LA Noir quality
Ooh, that'll
of
be interesting.
facials. Um, um, yeah, but I think we've got time now for a wee quiz if you're up for it, Grakees.
Oh, it is quiz time. We're back to the quiz. It's an every other week sort of thing.
It's the quiz. Oh, I can't even do it. My voice is gone. Um, so what was the name of this quiz?
The sometimes true or false. The Star Citizen sometimes true or false quiz, but could possibly be neither.
Not true or false. Yes. I will tell you now that we do not have any true or false questions here.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've been rather bold. And in fact, I've been so bold, I've centralized this around one theme. And
What?
that theme is Vandul.
The boogeymen.
Yeah. So we have 10 questions. And now this is obviously 10 for the Vandul. We, as a rule, unless it's me answering the questions, this is all for fun.
Oh, it's all for fun to me,
Oh,
too.
for fun. Oh, for fun.
I expect to get maybe 2 or 3 right,
I think
usually.
you'll do. There are a few curveballs here. I think you'll do quite well. I hope you will actually. The aim of this is to have some fun and at the same time, talk about the law and share what we know.
Inform the people.
Yeah. So, question 1: what is the name of the Vandul homeworld?
I actually don't know the name of the Vandal homeworld.
Okay.
I couldn't find that today when I was looking about at different things.
I gave a wee heads up, say it was this kind of this area because it felt so. So, what is your answer? What's the name of the Vandal homeworld?
Unknown, or we don't. I'll say we don't know what it is.
I'm gonna have to actually take your first answer. Captain. So here, Captain Jimmy Dean has whispered to me and asked if it was Doucheland. And I will say no answers in chat. We'll keep this. Feel free to whisper to me, but don't publicly post in chat because we can both read it. We don't want to give either of us, if the advantage. I had the answer was unknown. That was the first thing you said, so you get 1 point. We do not know.
It is unknown because they're
the nomadic race. We don't know where they originate from, or if it still exists.
Not clans. They're something else.
Marauding bastards. I think
they call them like hunting parties or something. I can't remember.
Yeah. So, what year were they encountered by humanity? The Vandal. What year were the Vandal encountered by humanity?
Oh, for the love of 2650.
So you said 2650.
Yeah.
Reality said Parrot Math said to you, Grakees, 2013.
I know it was at Orion 3.
Okay.
I just can't remember the exact year.
I so totally want you to give Parrot Math some hugs because that was the correct answer.
2013?
Yeah.
Oh!
The answer was 2681.
81. Ah.
Okay. So that's a nil point. Question 3. On August the 9th, 2681, a heavily armed Vandal raiding party struck the main post on and slaughtered the colonists there to the last man.
It was Orion 3.
Oh, you...
I just said it a moment ago. They had another name for the planet. Was it
Armitage?
Armitage. I was going to say Artemis, but yeah. Orion 3.
Okay. Now, they actually left one citizen. Actually, they managed to account for all the bodies, but they could not find... Yes, it was a farmer. What was the name of the farmer and the farmer's age?
Oh, crap! That's evil! Names. Don't know names. I'm going to say his name was _test, and his age was 63.
Okay, you were right on one. His name was Jean-Michel Jarre. Actually, no, you totally nil point. That was John Phillips, and he was 38.
John Phillips, 38.
Yeah. Question 5. I was just reading what's kind of in chat. Now, you'll get this. What is the name of the Vandal heavy fighter?
Oh, God, the heavy fighter?
Yeah. So we haven't seen this in-game, but They kind of
Is
have
that the
this
Reaper?
similar matching to us. Is that the Reaper? Is that your final
I
answer?
have to go with that because I can't remember the name of the heavy fighter specifically. I glanced at the ship list earlier, but I don't remember much of them.
Okay. So the name of the Vandal heavy fighter is John Phillips, 38 years old.
The farmer's now a Vandal heavy
is
fighter.
he is a deadly opponent. You can get up to 3 Vandal in him, and they ram very hard. It's actually the Stinger.
The Stinger is the heavy fighter. Okay.
Yeah. Now I'd like to apologize for this one. What was the designation? So we have the Scythes. The Scythes are a ship that we got from somewhere. We got them from a carrier.
The X-12.
I hate you. The question was, what's the designation given to the first Vandal carrier captured by the UEE?
I knew that one.
Okay. This one is an easy one. How many Vandals are there? This is question 7. How many Vandals are there in Area 18?
Entire Vandal?
So nothing.
I'm going to say a quarter because it's just his head.
It's a very big head. Yes, I put down 1 ahead.
I went with a quarter ahead just in case you decide to get tricky because it's not an entire Vandal, though we didn't see his
so
body.
Unlike me. So question 8. And I'll need to read this out full. Aegis Dynamics Retaliator is to the UEE as is to the Vandal.
It's their heavy bomber, but I can't remember the name of the heavy bomber. I've seen the pictures of it, but I don't remember the name of it.
Is your mind a blank?
Yes, my mind is a blank to the name of the heavy bomber.
Like a void.
It is a void. Oh God, it's the void. Is it the void fighter or the void bomber?
Void bomber.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
I'm laughing at some of the whisper answers I've been getting. Timothy, you're a bad man. And yeah, Vreka, you got it right, and Cap, you got it right. Now, the Vandal. Now, this is an answer, the question that you should get the answer to because you've been working with the CryEngine assets.
Oh boy.
For the Vandal, how many fingers do they have in each hand?
Oh crap, I'm trying to remember the details of the hands. I think they have a thumb and 2 fingers.
They have 2 hands. Just want to give you a hint there.
You said on each hand.
Yeah. So they have no, I'm just telling you, just generally they have 2 hands. So,
yeah, I know it's not extra hands. I think it's a thumb and 2 fingers, 2 large fingers if I remember. But I don't remember off the top of my head. I didn't look that closely at their hands.
For this, we'll assume the thumb and fingers are the same.
So 3?
I hate you. 3.
It is. Okay, so it is the thumb and 2.
So, now, I think, Grakees, you may get this. I don't know if chat will get this. So here's the thing. The last question. Because we had the Orion 3 incident and because the Vandal decimated several outposts, the UEE, well, it kind of is, we don't feel that they're doing enough against the Vandal threat. So we as citizens have taken up arms and we're going to launch an attack on the Vandal as part of, and this is deadly serious, as part of the release of Star Citizen. And this has been endorsed by Cloud Imperium Games, and they're actually going to work it into the lore and to the story and everything. That is called Operation Pitchfork.
Yes.
There is, however, an equivalent Vandal response. What is the name of the Vandal response?
The CIG created Vandal response, not the community side response?
No, I know which one you're talking about. It's the CIG created
Iron Hay Bale.
Operation Iron Hay Bale is is the response by the
And the
Vandals to
community
our.
traitors that are going to sow chaos are Operation Yawspoon.
Is it really called that?
It's called Yawspoon.
Oh my God. Okay, so as a quick kind of summary, we don't know the name of the Vandal homeworld. We first encountered them in the year 2681 when they first attacked on August the 9th, 2681. They decimated Orion 3 Armitage, which was, of course, in the Orion system. We couldn't account. We counted for everybody in that attack except for one person. That was a farmer called John Phillips.
Who
The name of
was
the
38.
38, yeah. The name of the Vandal heavy fighter is the Stinger. When we got our scythes, our authentic scythes, that was because we captured a Vandal carrier, and that's been designated the X12.
1,400 dead Vandal on board.
Yo ho ho. And there's actually a head of a Vandal in Cubby Blast in Area 18 of ARPCore. The name, so the UE have the Retaliator as a bomber from the Mesa era, and the Vandal have the Void bomber. The Vandal are three-fingered, which means they suck at magic tricks. And the community have created Operation Pitchfork as a response to the Vandal threat. And CIG have in turn created Operation Iron Hay Bale. Would you like to know your score?
Yes, I would. Drum roll.
6.
Ooh, I did pretty good.
You did pretty good, sir. I'm very
Some of
proud
those
of
were
that.
pretty tough, too. I was close on the 26 one. I was off by, 31 years on that? That's not too bad considering crawling through the lore. I think settlement of Orion 3 was 2650.
I think it was.
That's where I got mixed up, I think.
What's going to be very interesting is, and I don't want to give spoilers, even though it's publicly available, is how I can see the Vandal working in Earth Terra space. I think that's going to be amazing if we get that far, because the lore of Star Citizen is based upon around 2nd to 4th century Rome, and if they can pull it off, it's going to be epic.
All jump points lead to Earth.
Shut up, you. But they've also said that may not happen. It's in our hands.
Oh, Pitchfork is the start of something or the end of something.
Mm-hmm. It may be the fiery stick in the wasp's nest.
Whoops.
So we don't normally we're not going to do an after show this time. But we'll take a few questions probably right now, just to kind of find out what chat are thinking. There was a question chat, if you want to post a couple of quick questions, do so now. There was a question way up at the start of the stream, at the start of the recording, about pedals. Do we use them, and what's good pedals and our thoughts on them? So, Grakees, do you use pedals?
Not anymore, but I used to. And
what do you use?
The SciTech pedals. I haven't used them for Star Citizen, but I used to have pedals for flying and everything else. So I had the SciTech pedals. I can't even remember the exact ones. Just like I got my X52. And the only thing of SciTech for mine that's broken is the actual joystick portion of it.
Yeah.
The pedals have always worked great when I had them, and I can't find them. They're buried somewhere at my grandparents' place. And my throttle handle has always worked great every time I've ever had SciTech devices. So SciTech's always been pretty good to me in how long it works. This is the first one I've really ever had just break.
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of people with the X52 Pros break.
They seem to have an issue, and it seems to be around the honestly, it seems to be around the lubricant that they use on the joystick connector, where it's metal on metal and plastic on metal.
Mm-hmm.
It wears out, turns into gunk, and then you get this like grit that destroys and pits the metal. So then it catches, and it just makes
Yeah,
it worse and worse.
that's not good. Um, I use actually Cytec Combat Pro pedals, and I absolutely love them. But what I use them for predominantly is strafing. So I have on the foot push axis, I have left-right strafe, and on the toe, I have up and down. So I then use a forward-back toggle, depending on if I'm decoupled or uncoupled, on my throttle. What that means is that when I'm flying, I can quite easily adopt, say, a two-plane avoidance. So I can be going left to right and either up or down or right to left. And so that then reduces hits on me. It's kind of very obvious what I'm doing. So you've kind of got to break the pattern and just make sure that you don't kind of immediately double back. So you don't go left to right and up and then turn right to left kind
Yeah.
of thing, because you'll just kind of make it easier to lead on you. I think pedals for Star Citizen, I'm going to say they're a must if you're playing with a stick. I don't play with keyboard because well, I'm a lefty. I'm a left-handed. So seriously, your right-handed keyboard configurations confuse me, and I get scared easy. Um, but I would say I've been I I'm a terrible flyer. I'm terrible in so many ways. I'll never be the best. But for God's sake, tune your dead zones, because I've been flying like a madman without even realizing I had better control options. Um, so got from Parrot Math. The Avenger has been shown in detail on the ship shape today. Do you think the outer hull was modified in any way to help make modularity of the equipment?
Nope.
I think no.
They
No.
said outright that they weren't allowed to do those types of changes to the
Yeah.
main hull and stuff. They had to
Um,
go with what they had and just modify bits and pieces to fit with what they had.
yeah. So here's a two-parter. We've already had a call and response. So Timothy Fabulous asked the question, and Raytheon 2 comes with the response. Question: do you know if it's possible to have a medical freelancer, from Timothy? And Raytheon says, Tim, use a freelancer to hospitalize people. That makes sense.
It's medical in reverse.
So here's the thing, Timothy. When stats, never believe the stats page. One of the things that the stats page focuses on is the weapons hardpoints. That doesn't actually equate to the true number of hardpoints. That's only the hardpoints they've published, because people think we like weapons. The truth of the matter is, your ship has a lot more hardpoints. So, can you have a medical freelancer? I most certainly hope so. I think there's a lot of opportunity for that to happen. The only reason why it couldn't happen is because they also want to go live.
I'm going to chime in and say yes, however, it will not function nearly as well as maybe a ship that's better suited for it if they don't have a specific freelancer medical module.
That's very true.
They've already said that you're going to be able to get some functionality into the ships, whether it be emergency care or something like that. However, you might not have a medical bed. You might only have a small little med station with a few emergency items to hold someone off. So if they don't have an ambulance freelancer that they add in, an ambulance module like they've done with the Cutlass Red, then you could probably get some
Yeah,
equipment in there that'll serve as emergency medical services stuff, but not as well as a dedicated ambulance ship.
absolutely. Um, we have another question. We've actually two questions on Parrot Math. First one is, I heard recent comments that Mad Cats, now, well, I'll ask this, I'll read this question and then I'll kind of give a bit of background. I heard recent comments that Mad Catz and SciTech had improved their quality control. Do you suspect that this is true? So the background for this is that SciTech have made some great sticks, and then Mad Catz bought them. Now, Mad Catz are a peripheral, and apparently during that process, the X55 came out, and there were some quality issues.
And the 52 Pro.
52 Pro as well. I didn't know. And so it got, shall we say, a bit of a bad rep. So the question is, has the quality control improved? My take on it is, I don't know. What I do know, however, is that I've got an X55 in my hands right now that is absolutely rock solid, apart from the fact that I seem to accidentally eject every third fight. But apart from that, it's quality build.
They have definitely improved it.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is now they have a lot of eyes on them to make quality sticks, because they are the stick of choice when it comes to game pads. And I'm talking the old school arcade style pads that are used at the big fighting tournaments. And when you bring equipment into a fighting tournament, if your stick breaks, which a lot of them do break their equipment because they're very hard. I'm talking if I took the joystick and slammed it all the way to the left as hard as I could, there are certain things that you know is going to break your equipment if you do that like 20 or 30 times in a row. If I put all my force into that, I know I'm going to break my joystick. There's only so much hitting it could take. And that does happen when you put that much force, or especially if they lose into it. And they've built better and better quality ones to the point where now they're actually the platform of choice for these tournaments. And when you're at MLG gaming tournaments as the item of choice, you've done something right. And then all the eyes are on you to stay that way, because otherwise your competitor companies are going to move in and snatch that away from you as quick as they can, because that's a lot of money. So you have to stay on the top of your game. So you have to make those improvements.
Yeah, that's very true. And I think one of the things to kind of give some more background to this is that SciTech have been chosen as the controller for Star Citizen controllers.
Yes.
So there's an awful lot of interest and focus in what can be coming out of them. So Sandy Gardner has been working with them to I guess discuss the possibilities. They've already agreed to do it, but now it's kind of finding out kind of what the scope of it is of open development. So knowing the Star Citizen community, I'm sure they'll be absolutely fine. So it'll be quite interesting to have them on board. And I mean, it would be fantastic to kind of hear their design thinkings, because one of the most important thing about shall we say, the Chris Roberts vision, which is let's talk about what we want and then make it happen, is that I think there's probably going to be a lot more potential compromises on the hardware because of the other kind of outlying factors. So it'll be very interesting to hear kind of what they think about and how they're kind of making those decisions. I obviously don't want people to get too upset if we don't get the dream kind of controller, but I think it'll be fantastic insight to kind of see how they kind of, you know, the compromises they have to make.
Well, they've already said they plan to do an open development process of the joystick itself as well.
Well, the underlying question is how open, and that's what Sandy is in conversation with them about.
Yeah, and I would love to get my hands on a preview. Honestly, it's just because I'm one of those users that puts thousands of hours into using a joystick, and I have put over 10,000 hours into joysticks over my life, so I understand how they work and function and can give that feedback. Plus, it's a selfish thing.
We're probably a year away, I'd say, or at least 9 months away from kind of getting the device in our hands. I'm very hopeful that I can kind of get one when that happens, but we'll kind of see how that plays out. Now, we've had some questions about the Reliant. What do you think of the Reliant stuff last week? So that was when we saw the white boxing of the Reliant.
I thought it was cool. I mean, it's what I imagined it from what I saw before, though. They just repositioned a little bit of stuff, so it's like, okay, they're making progress exactly like I thought.
Mm,
Cool. Keep going. Give me the ship.
absolutely, and I kind of think the same way. Pirate Math goes, will you pick up a two-seater variant of the Avenger?
Nope. I don't even have an Avenger.
No. Um, they got that movie called Happy Feet. They don't need any more help.
What about the
Shaken.
Morgan Freeman movie?
I've never seen that.
He
I've only seen
voiced,
parody clips.
yeah, he voiced March of the Penguins or something like that.
He did, but I think it was actually only the US release. Other people did elsewhere. Surprise, surprise. Um,
It should have been him everywhere. I mean, that voice is just
well, he
perfect.
is God. Um, Shake and Bake goes, thoughts on in-game gambling, poker, etc. Can it be implemented and what restrictions are expected? Now, bear in mind, we're not CIG, so everything we talk about here is bullshit. Um,
Speculation. Speculative bullshit.
spec shit. So Grakees, I mean, what do you think about gambling and poking with poker?
Poking. Gambling and poking. Sounds like Vegas.
Rawr. What goes on in Vegas lasts with you for a lifetime.
It does. Or with
Um,
antibiotics. Um,
mm,
anyway, the gambling and stuff in game, I could see them doing that if it fits in with the universe they're trying to build.
yeah. And I know they have been looking at various games. I mean, they even had as part of the writers' law, can you name a couple of kind of games and activities that can be carried out? And they were, talking about various card games. They have said that they're able to spin a coin or flick a coin with the grabby hand system. Now, that then becomes, will they have their own games, which are kind of automated through a process, or will they give us the ability to run our own card games? We don't know. I really hope for the latter, but if we get the former, totally fine. And in terms of restrictions expected, I don't even understand why there would be restrictions.
I mean, if we can grabby hands a deck of cards, then we can do something with it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've already said you can't. They don't really have it where you're going to be able to do individual cards and hold them all and then pick one out. So and then shuffle the deck. So they might have some sort of like automated system in there. But they're already trying to work with cards. So and
Mm.
by the way, Dublar, you just it'll like disappeared from camera.
Sorry, there we are. How's
I was
that?
just letting you know. There you go.
To be honest, this entire time I've been chatting. So people don't know I actually have a chat in front of me, and I have Grakees to the side of me. So I've been going like that. So I'm sorry if I've been off camera. Um, we've got a couple of questions here from Underscore. Do you think they have extended warranties on the Star Citizen stick?
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, it doesn't need it, but just in
Yeah.
case, it would be nice.
Parrots going for the hat trick. Have you signed up for the SciTech website for feedback and stuff?
Yes.
Absolutely. Seriously now. Um, Cyberwolf has said that what we're talking about is not BS, it's theory citizen. This is the kind of funky monkey thing that we've got going on here. It's that this game will disappoint quite a lot of people, and that's okay, because this game is being built to Chris Roberts' vision. Doesn't matter about our vision, because we're giving Chris and CIG the funds in order to develop their vision and Chris's vision. So we can speculate as much as we want and we can hope, but let's have fun with that. But let's never, ever be disappointed if we don't get that. I mean, we can be disappointed, but we can't be righteous in our indignation.
Disappointment allowed. Righteous indignation, right out.
Brr. So I I think that's pretty much all the questions we have. Anything else from your side, Grakees, that you see?
I do not. I haven't seen anything at this point. I think it's coming to that point in the stream where it's time to end things for the night.
Yeah, I think so. Grakees, where can we find you?
You can find me on twitch.tv/Grakees, Grakees. Today is 9 months of me streaming on that channel.
Absolute congratulations to you, sir. 9 months streaming. And I don't know if people here, and if you're on podcast, I don't know if you follow Grakees, and you absolutely should. He is a wonderful streamer. There are many streamers who play games and appear to be angry and enjoy themselves, and there are many streamers who do nothing but dance and do strange shit. Grakees plays games, loves games, is enthusiastic about the games, and he connects to his chat. Not 5 minutes will go by when he's laughing or asking questions. Oh God, he's put the goggles on.
The goggles of emotion.
Oh, God damn you! And he is truly a community gamer, and that is vitally impressive. So yeah, and as Ryu Kiwazu says, watching Grakees play in Elite Dangerous and hug his opponents was unique and entertaining, to say the least. Absolutely. So yeah, so follow Grakees, and I'm saying this to everybody on the podcast who's listening right now. Twitch.tv/GRAKEES. He's a good guy.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm welling up right now a little bit. You guys, this community, and you, Doublar, I couldn't be more thankful, and thank you for the. Thank you.
No worries, no worries. And you can also follow me if you
follow him.
like floppy hair and the odd sarcastic comment at twitch.tv/DoublarThackery. That's DoublarThackery. I don't stream as much as Grakees. That's just because of life stuff, although I'm getting more active. But I would also say, if for some ungodly reason you actually enjoy our witterings, go onto iTunes and throw a review up there and say general nonsense. And if you hate us, tell us. Because, quite honestly, we love your feedback. And if you like us, tell us. We love your feedback. We want to improve and we want to learn. This game is doing something new, and Grakees and I, we've never podcasted before. So seriously now, you can help us. Yes, we are new, and whatever you tell us, good or bad, it helps. And we want to get better. So stuff, yeah, that's it. So we have to make a break for it now. We love you lots, and we'll see you next week. Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys.
See you.